Now at 11, it wasn't the result that U.S. soccer fans wanted, but there's still plenty of spirit and optimism as Team USA advances to the knockout round.
You know, it's great, seeing that and watching, this team get so far that they're going, and they seem really successful to me, and I think they can go all the way.
The packed watch parties across the Bay Area as Team USA hit the field. And another big night for Levi's as the South Bay hosts Australia and Paraguay, the economic boost that's bringing to downtown San Jose. Then cleanup efforts getting underway in Venezuela after back-to-back earthquakes, the help that's coming to the country from the Bay Area and beyond. Plus, Pride Weekend is almost here in San Francisco, and people are ready to celebrate, and some of them are even looking for love.
My normal greeting, it was, hello, gays, theys, girlies, and all of the allies that we brought with us. Happy Pride Month. Thank you for being here.
From KPIX, this is the Late News with Sarah Donchie on CBS News Bay Area.
Good evening, I'm Devin Feely. Sarah is off tonight. It was another big night for World Cup action, both in Southern California and here in the Bay Area. The U.S. men's team, they squared off against Turkey, while Levi's Stadium hosted Paraguay and Australia. And if there is a fan base that knows how to get the party started, it is the Aussies.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Hundreds of Australia fans met at a strip mall in Santa Clara. They then marched to Levi's Stadium, chanting and cheering the entire way there. One fan told us that he fully expected his team to dominate. Now, it didn't quite play out that way. The match ended in a scoreless tie, but that was still enough for the Aussies to advance for the third time in the team's history. The U.S. men's team also played tonight against Turkey. This was the scene pre-match as hundreds of fans made their way to SoFi, marching and singing and chanting along the way. Tonight's score didn't really matter because the U.S. is already on to the next round after finishing first in its group. Hundreds gathered near Yerba Buena Gardens this afternoon. It was the first official SF Pride Block Party and Pride House World Cup Watch Party. Now, the fun started with the Sweden and Japan match. Many folks stuck around for the U.S. men's match as well. It also featured drag performances, a DJ, and a catwalk.
Since it is in the Bay Area and it is Pride, there is just an explosion of those two really strong and vibrant communities coming together.
Organizers say the goal is to bring the LGBT community and the soccer community together while helping to draw people into downtown. Now, the event also unofficially kicks off San Francisco's Pride Weekend. Now, that wasn't the only big watch party tonight. Fans also watched from San Francisco's Pier 39. They braved the cold and the chill as they cheered on Team USA. Andrea Nakano introduces us to a family of soccer fans from Virginia joining the crowd with some brand new gear.
Meet the Turnus family from Virginia. They came early and grabbed front row seats at the USA-Turkey World Cup watch party at Pier 39.
This is the most excited, I think, the country's ever been about U.S. soccer.
While the excitement hit a fever pitch, the temperatures did not.
Some authors said the coldest he's ever been was a summer in San Francisco. Yeah, we're feeling that now.
The Turnus family came out in short sleeves and shorts, so they had to come up with creative ways to add more layers.
I started,
and
I stole
She stole
he had to buy a new
and then I had to go buy this here because she stole my sweatshirt.
Yeah. But the chilliness quickly wore off as the crowd celebrated USA's first goal just minutes into the match. The whole family, especially Shannon, loves soccer. They took a huge gamble buying tickets for next week's game at Levi's Stadium.
That's why we got the cheap tickets, because I bought tickets to a game I didn't know who was going to be playing in.
We were just hoping, and location-wise, it's here, Dallas, where are we going to pick? And so we just had to knock on wood that they were going to win the group to stay in San Francisco, because otherwise we could be watching Turkey or something else. So we didn't know, but Yeah, we're very happy that we're watching USA.
They are betting on USA at least reaching the quarterfinals, but this family has high hopes for this team to reach the World Cup finals.
Like I say, is Captain America will carry us all the way. Chris Melisic will carry us to the promised land.
You know, it's great, seeing that and watching, this team get so far that they're going, and they seem really successful to me, and I think they can go all the way. So I'm going to stay with that.
Well, soccer fans in Oakland also watch today's matches while taking in the art and the culture surrounding the sport. Cultura FC is hosting a two-day event with art exhibits showcasing posters and photographs. There's also a viewing area for live matches and a spot where you can buy gear.
I just love how I see people kind of using their creativity and around football.
Now, the event is hosted by Oakland Roots and Soul. It runs until tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Now, with the group stage officially behind them, the U.S. men's team is going to head to Levi's Stadium next week for their round of 32 match. And that match has Bay Area tourism leaders expecting a late surge of visitors. They're hoping that it's going to close the gap after local hotel bookings kind of fell short of expectations heading into the tournament. Now, some people in San Jose say they've already noticed the foot traffic picking up.
San Jose is kind of more the spot to be than San Francisco for the World Cup, just because the stadium's so close, everyone's kind of centered around here.
And it's not just the South Bay. San Francisco Travel says that SFO just logged one of its busiest stretches ever. Tourism leaders say the World Cup could still pump between $360 million and $480 million into the Bay Area economy. As for our local soccer teams, Bay FC is celebrating a milestone for the team. And for women's sports in general, the soccer club held a topping out ceremony for its new performance center on Treasure Island. Crews hoisting the final structural beam into place today. Now, before that, players and team executives signed the beam. This performance center is going to be the first training facility that is built for a women's sports team here in the Bay Area. Bay FC head coach Jim McCode says it is a step towards building a sports organization that is truly world-class.
This performance centre is much more than a building. It's a home. It's a place that will help our current players reach the next level, create an environment that attracts the best talent from across the globe, and develop the best players right here in the Bay Area. A place where players arrive with dreams and leave as icons.
The facility will feature team offices and 3 training fields. It's set to open ahead of the 2027 season. All right, so some other news that we're following tonight. The people behind the billionaires' tax push say that they're going to put that measure on the ballot in November. The measure had gathered enough signatures to qualify, but there's been a lot of last-minute campaigning behind closed doors to keep it from actually getting on the ballot. Governor Newsom turned down a compromise offer for the legislature to pass a smaller tax that would have been in exchange for sponsors pulling the measure. The proposal going before voters would put a one-time 5% tax on billionaire stocks and other assets. And they say that it's to offset federal cuts to health care. Healthcare union workers behind the measure talked about it earlier tonight.
We know that enthusiasm for the billionaire tax is unlike anything California has seen before, and we're confident we will win.
Opponents say the billionaires tax would cause the mega wealthy to just leave the state and lessen California's tax base. One measure that was pulled off the ballot would have pitted Uber and California's trial lawyers against each other. According to Cal Matters, the company and attorneys agreed to a compromise, a Senate bill that would cap medical cost recoveries in certain cases. And 2 dueling measures that would have put hospital executives and healthcare unions against each other will not make the November ballot either. The 2 sides made a deal to pull measures that would have hurt each other. And Cal Matters political reporter Dan Walter says that's becoming a more common practice.
What it amounts to is that a lot of these deals that are going through are all being negotiated in private. The public has no input on these deals that are being cooked up, ballot measure deals, and the legislature just stands back and says, okay, you've made a deal, we'll go along with it.
San Francisco's Pride Parade is almost here, and parade organizers are expecting about 1 million people to take part. All this week, Pride-themed events are happening around the city. including one aimed at helping people make a romantic connection.
Who's ready? Who's ready to meet some singles?
The California Academy of Sciences hosted Pride Nightlife. One of the highlights is a Date My Friend showcase where people presented their favorite single friend to a crowd hoping to make a match. Now, the night also featured drag performances, karaoke, a DJ, and local vendors. One ice cream shop owner tells us that events like this are a great boost for the LGBTQ community.
It's wonderful to see so many businesses. There's a synergy in seeing a lot of queer businesses together, not only economically, but in terms of being a safe space for a lot of the LGBT population and people around, especially in this time of this administration coming down so hard on our trans brothers and sisters and all the other things that's happening. So it's wonderful to be here.
Tomorrow night, the annual Trans March will kick off Pride Weekend. This is video from last year's march. It is expected to be just as big this year. The full program and resource fair starts at 3 o'clock at Dolores Park, with the march starting at 6. And don't forget, you can catch our live 2-hour Pride Parade celebration special this weekend. We're going to showcase stories focused on the Bay Area's LGBTQ community. It airs on Sunday, June 28th, starting at 10 a.m. over on our sister station on Pix Plus. 2 powerful earthquakes leaving behind massive damage in Venezuela. Now people in the Bay Area are looking for ways to help.
Really, really scary. And every day, like from yesterday until now, everything even is worse.
We have an update from Caracas and how people are banding together to support loved ones back home. And one state already dealing with massive wildfires, the drastic measure the governor is taking ahead of Independence Day.
And it is not often in the month of June that we get to put stuff on the virtual map that shows rainfall across the state. It's not going to be a lot, but there is rain coming to Northern California. Like on Saturday, we could see some of it here in the Bay. I want to talk to you about how that's going to affect the next 2 days particularly. Coming up in the forecast next.